Dictionary.com defines unity as, quote, the state of being united, end quote. And what does this definition tell us? Well, basically that unity equals, wait for it, unity. And if you're anything like me and you consider it pretty useless to include the word you don't understand in the definition for that word, then you probably don't consider this particular definition very helpful at all. So for the sake of clarity, I would like to offer my own definition. Unity, as defined by me.com, is, quote, people getting along, end quote. That's right, people, like you and me and the guy you made awkward eye contact with at the stoplight and that one woman you thought was crazy for taking the stairs rather than the escalator. We are all people. And here's the crazy part. There's about 7.5 billion of us. And it's a good thing that you're all sitting down because it gets even crazier. Every single one of those 7.5 billion people is different. Not just different in a you and your mother-in-law kind of way. No, each person is unique, special. Aww. And to say people are all around us is an understatement. And it gets really hard maintaining peace between those we just don't see eye to eye with. But no matter how stressed out it makes us, we can't just avoid going to the DMV or talking with that one relative who never fails to set us off. And that's exactly why the whole idea of unity is so important. Not just with others, but with ourselves. So today, I want to explore what unites us, what sets us apart, and what we can do to make the most of it all, in a full-on discovery of unity. And I'll be doing so through 3 main points, but since I'm a fan of surprises, let's just jump right into my first one. What's wrong with the DMV/world in general? Now, before you answer that question with, everything, let's look at what specific problems plague our world. On one hand, you have your hardcore global warming supporters, and on the other, you're people who honestly don't care why it's getting hotter, they just hope it melts the snow. You have those who consider guns every American's right, and those who think we'd be a lot better off without them. And then you have people who hear Yanny and people who hear Laurel. So many contradictions, right? Everywhere you go, there's someone who thinks differently than you, believes in something that you don't, and honestly, a whole lot of anger. But why? When did alienating people just because they're different from us become an everyday occurrence? And why, for the love of all things license and registration related, does going to the DMV raise the blood pressure of anyone over 30? Simply put, the issues begin when we start to think there's only one way to be, think, and believe. Our way. When we fail to value opinions other than our own, counterattacks against our beliefs by devaluing somebody else's, and decide if we like someone based on their political affiliation, we are becoming the problem. But let's be honest, we don't like to think that we're the problem, so I'll soften the blow for all of us. We're only 1 out of 7.5 billion problems. But why so many? The answer, and also my next point, is simple. We are all different, in a sappy yet non-cliche way. Now, you've already heard me talk about how everyone's unique, and I'm not quite done yet. You may have heard of the Myers-Briggs personality test. It's created by a mother-daughter psychologist duo and has been used for decades to categorize human personality and inclination. There are 8 key traits that make up personality according to Myers-Briggs. For example, how you get your energy from internal alone time or external time spent with others explains that you're either introverted or extroverted. If you gain information from what you experience, you're sensing, or from what you conclude in your head, you're intuitive. If you make decisions with hard logic, you're thinking, or with your emotions, you're feeling. And finally, if you're adaptive and spontaneous, or if you like things just so and always stick to your plans, you're either perceiving or judging. But I'm willing to bet that all of you are judging. Now, I know that that's a lot to take in, and you probably retain none of that, but it gets even crazier. Rather than saying that each person simply exhibits 4 of these traits, the test goes on to explain that they're more like dimmer switches, where you either fall to the extreme high, the extreme low, or most likely somewhere in the middle of the opposing traits. For example, I am an INFP. That means I'm introverted, intuitive, feeling, and perceiving. But since we're all friends here, you can just call me an emotional basket case. And although I'm introverted, I'm also 47% extroverted. So while this means I often enjoy a good puzzle more than people, I'm not quite an order everything shipped to my door so I never have to see another person ever again kind of gal. But what's the point of knowing what your personality type is? Well, because it explains just how different people are. And how is this supposed to help you get along with a scary guy at the DMV or watch a political protest without yelling, "Do these hippies even have jobs?" at the TV? Which conveniently brings me to my final point. Puzzles, turkey, and world peace. Not to brag or anything, but I'm pretty good at puzzles. While the other kids were out there making friends and learning basic social skills, I was busy collecting puzzles by any means I could. I had some taller than me, and some that I knew so well, I could solve them with the pieces flipped to the blank side. And no, I didn't get out much, unless it was to go buy more puzzles. But anyways, I remember one puzzle in particular that was my absolute favorite. It was the world, but instead of being flat, when you put it together, it was actually shaped like a globe. Now, I'm gonna need all of you to try to picture this puzzle because I'm about to use it in a really crazy analogy that I'm sure none of you will see coming. Ready? Our Earth is just like that puzzle. One world made up of individual pieces, each one a person. Some pretty groundbreaking stuff, I know, but please try to stay with me. This plays right into the idea of a unified people. See, unity starts with seeing the beauty in the individual, even yourself. It means recognizing that each type has certain unique passions and talents. For example, INFPs like me are often writers and philosophers like C.S. Lewis and literally every French guy ever. While INTJs like my brother are often leaders and scientists and not complete disappointments to their parents like Elon Musk and John Adams. And while you may be convinced that your mother-in-law has the same personality as Kim Jong-un, you know what? Maybe so. But that also means she shares a personality with Billy Graham, which is really cool. See, it's all about recognizing that each person has the potential to be someone amazing. And yeah, I could sit around all day jealous that being a political mastermind isn't my strong suit. Or I could embrace how God has made me and live in appreciation of how he made others. Recognizing that each person brings something new to the table. Like that one aunt who always brings Jell-O to Thanksgiving dinner when no one else does. And it's so much better that way. I mean, who wants a Thanksgiving dinner of just turkey? Don't get me wrong, turkey tastes great, but it's even better with cranberry sauce and mashed potatoes. And no, I don't mean we should just ignore the issues in others. I mean, we need to be willing to see beyond the political opinions of the green bean casserole or the dryness of the turkey and appreciate the good things about them. I mean, let's be real, we all have flaws. I'm often passionate to a fault and stubborn beyond belief, but I'm also the person that God has created me to be. And you are all the people who God has created you to be. Because you are made in the same image as 7.5 billion other people. And that image is God's image. Now, I'm not advocating for world peace. I wish I could, but as renowned singer and actress Hannah Montana tells us in her historic song, "Nobody's Perfect," quote, "Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody has those days," end quote. Despite this truth, I believe humanity could do a much better job of being unified by genuinely daring to see others how Christ sees them and treat others how Christ would treat them, with a focus on what we value about people, rather than how they're just annoying us in the moment. It would start in our homes and how we interact with our children, our siblings, our parents, and our spouses. It would start in our family reunions, our political opinions, our online interactions, and the comment section of Donald Trump's Instagram account. Because in all honesty, our differences are exactly what should be uniting us, not dividing us. John 15:12 says, "My commandment is this: love one another as I have loved you." By caring about others' opinions rather than just trying to get our own across, and by loving others the way that Christ has loved us, I am confident we could see a community and a nation united rather than divided. But we have to know it's not going to be easy. And it has to begin with recognizing the importance of every single piece. a picture that's a lot bigger than just one person. And you don't have to love puzzles as much as me to want to put this one together.